Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a massive topic, artificial intelligence in India. Now, as AI gets more and more powerful, a critical question is bubbling to the surface. Is it creating a level playing field for everyone, or is it just making the big players even bigger? We're going to dive deep into the Competition Commission of India's landmark report that explores exactly that. And if you're gearing up for competitive exams, trust me, you are going to want to pay close attention. Let's just kick things off with one staggering number that puts everything into perspective. Almost $32 billion. Yeah, you heard that right. That is the projected size of India's AI market by 2031. We're not talking about a small trend here. This is an economic tidal wave. And whenever a market gets this big, this fast, you can bet regulators like the CCI start asking some serious questions about who really holds the power.
So here's how we're going to break it all down, following the report's own structure. We'll start with that explosive market growth, the AI gold rush. Then we'll get technical and decode the AI stack. After that, we'll see how it's shaking up entire industries, look at the threats to fair competition, and finally, check out what the CCI thinks is the best way forward.
Okay, first up, Section 1, India's AI gold rush. And you know, gold rush is the perfect term for it. The speed and scale of what's happening is just incredible. I mean, just look at this chart. In just 4 years, from 2020 to 2024, the market has pretty much doubled. This isn't some slow and steady climb, this is a rocket launch. And that kind of exponential growth is exactly what gets a regulator's attention, because it immediately brings up questions about who's winning and if the game is fair. So, what's actually powering this rocket ship? Let's get into the guts of the machine. Section 2 is all about decoding the AI stack. Now, lean in for this part, because understanding this framework is absolutely critical for your exams. So, what on earth is the AI stack? Honestly, the easiest way to picture it is like a recipe for baking an AI cake. Each layer builds on the last, and you can't get to the final product without every single one. And it all starts with one key ingredient: data. The report breaks this whole thing down into 4 clear steps. Think of it like a pyramid. At the very bottom, the foundation, you've got the data layer. That's where everything begins. Then you need the muscle, the raw computing power. That's the infrastructure layer. On top of that, you build the brains of the operation in the development layer. And finally, at the very top, you have the application layer. That's the part we all see and use, where the AI solves a real-world problem. Now, this is really fascinating. Look at where Indian AI startups are putting their energy. A whopping 2/3 are focused on that very top layer, building applications. So what does that tell us? Well, it shows we're incredible at innovating and creating products people love. But it also suggests that many of our startups are building on top of foundational models and infrastructure controlled by just a handful of huge global companies. That creates a major dependency, and it's a key point of concern in the report. Okay, so we know how this tech is built. Now let's talk about where it's making the biggest waves. Section 3, AI's impact on industries. The big takeaway here is that AI isn't some niche tech anymore. It's basically becoming a general-purpose utility, kind of like electricity. It's reshaping everything from banking and finance to healthcare and retail. And that projected growth rate, a compound annual growth of around 40%, that's not just growth. That is a full-blown revolution happening right before our eyes. And what are businesses actually doing with this revolutionary tool? This survey from the report says it all. It really boils down to one thing: understanding the customer. A massive 90% of firms are using AI to monitor our behavior. This isn't just about giving us better recommendations. It's about building an unbelievably powerful competitive edge. The more a company knows about its customers, the tougher it is for anyone else to even try to compete. And that leads us directly to the absolute core of the CCI's investigation. When any technology gets this powerful and this widespread, we have to stop and ask, what does it mean for fair competition? This brings us to Section 4. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? AI has this incredible potential to empower small businesses and startups, but it could also just cement the power of the giants who are already at the top. It's a double-edged sword, and that's the tightrope that regulators have to walk. Okay, everyone, get your pens and highlighters out, because this is the piece of jargon you absolutely have to know for your exams: algorithmic coordinated conduct. It sounds complex, but the idea is actually simple and a little bit scary. Imagine 2 rival online stores. Their pricing algorithms with zero human intervention both learn that if they keep trying to undercut each other, everyone's profits go down. So they just stop. They learn to keep prices stable and high.
There are no secret meetings, no shady phone calls, just code. That is the new face of collusion. The report outlines 4 main ways this can happen. And to help you remember them, here's a super simple mnemonic. My parrot sings songs. Got it? M for monitoring, P for parallel, S for signaling, and the final S is for self-learning. And let me tell you, that last one, self-learning, is the one that really keeps regulators up at night. That's where the AI can literally teach itself how to collude. This chart just screams the answer to one of the biggest questions in the report. What is the single biggest hurdle for a new AI startup? It's not a lack of talent or money. Overwhelmingly, at 68%, the answer is data availability. The big, established players are sitting on mountains of high-quality data. It creates this kind of data moat around their business that is almost impossible for a new player to cross. So we have these incredible opportunities, but also these really significant risks. What does the Competition Commission of India actually recommend we do about it? That brings us to our final section, the way forward. So what's the CCI's game plan? It's actually not about heavy-handed regulation that might stifle all this amazing innovation. Instead, the focus is on creating a healthier, more competitive ecosystem. They're pushing for companies to self-audit their AI systems, for more transparency so we know what's going on under the hood, and, most importantly, for actively removing those barriers to entry, especially access to data and computing power. All right, it's time to lock in the key takeaways for your exam. If you only remember a handful of things from this entire report, make it these. Number 1, that massive market size, nearly $32 billion by 2031. 2, the 4 layers of the AI stack. 3, the critical jargon, algorithmic coordinated conduct. 4, our little mnemonic, my parrot sings songs. And 5, the number 1 barrier to entry for startups is data availability. Nail these points and you're golden. And so, that leaves us with the fundamental challenge of our time, doesn't it? How can India fully embrace the incredible, innovative power of AI without accidentally creating a new generation of digital monopolies? The answer to that question is going to define the future of India's digital economy. What do you think is the most critical first step?